For tonight's dinner, I made traditional spaghetti with meat sauce with a side of Sister Schubert's dinner rolls. I have never had those before, but they're really good. They're really easy to make. You throw them in the oven for like 5 minutes. But I did substitute the pasta with protein pasta, and the ground beef is made with extra lean ground beef, just to make it a little more healthier. But my kids absolutely love this dinner. It's a family favorite, and it's super easy and simple to make. Like I said, it's a family favorite, and of course we have to top it with some Parmesan cheese, but it was really, really good. And this pasta, you can't tell a difference between regular pasta or this protein pasta. I promise you, it's delicious. For our next dinner, I made taco soup in the crock pot. Again, I've never made this recipe before, and I was really, really surprised. So I always start by putting my crock pot liner in. I can get these at Walmart or Aldi, either one. They are a game changer when it comes to cooking in the crock pot. When it comes to making this meal, it's really easy. You dump every single can in the crock pot along with a beef bouillon cube and both packets of the taco seasoning and ranch seasoning, and I threw a little bit of onion powder on top, just eyeballing it. I didn't measure it, I just kind of tossed it on top. Like I said, I throw the beef bouillon cube in and let it dissolve with the liquids that's in from the tomatoes and let it cook. Then I throw in the lean ground beef I cooked and let it cook on low all day long, really. It made the house smell really delicious and soak up all the flavors. And it's even better a day old as it sits in the fridge and marinates in all the yummy seasoning and juices. This will probably be a family staple at least a couple times a month because it was so good. I mean, you could top it with sour cream, you could top it with lettuce and Fritos if you wanted to. The options are endless when it comes to this. I threw cheese and crackers on mine, but this meal was definitely a family favorite. I wanted to show you a lunch I've really been enjoying lately, a pinwheel with a side of roasted red pepper hummus and pita rounds. I usually use the Joseph pitas because they are higher in protein, but I use the low carb burrito for the pinwheel, and then I smear vegetable cream cheese, put some lunch meat, put some spinach, chop up a few little peppers, and then I cut them into pinwheels, and they're really, really delicious, guys. And I also get the spinach that's already washed and ready to go. It makes things so much easier, and it's a really, really yummy, yummy lunch. I tease the kiddos and tell them that we're going to have sushi because it looks like a little sushi roll, and they enjoy that too. But this roasted red pepper hummus is really, really good. I'm not a fan of regular hummus, but I can eat a lot of this little roasted red pepper hummus. These mini pitas from Aldi are really good for hummus and like handy for the kids to eat. But again, I prefer the Joseph brand hummus just because it's higher in protein. And then for the side, I have been making some fruit salad for the kids, and I'll usually top it with some whipped cream, but we are out of Ready Whip. Next dinner that I made was called ravioli bake. I've also never made this before, and it will probably be made again in our house because it was so easy. I literally just took the sauce, spread it on the bottom, made layers of frozen ravioli with sauce and cheese until they were all gone, baked it in the oven at like 350 for like 20 minutes just to get the cheese nice and melty and get the raviolis baked because they were pre-cooked, so I just wanted to warm them up. and I made a side of Sister Schubert's dinner rolls again, and it was a really easy, simple, delicious dinner for the family. I also made a side of Caesar salad with the Caesar salad kit from Aldi. This is also a family favorite. Gracely's just now getting into eating salad. Usually she doesn't like salad, but she actually had a whole helping of this, and this is one of my favorite salad kits ever. It's really, really good. Just look at how delicious this dinner was. Next dinner I made was ranch chicken and green beans and potatoes in the crock pot. Again, I just threw my crock pot liner in. I threw in the chicken. I used chicken thighs for this dinner. I like to try and switch up my chicken. If not, I get really tired of chicken breast all the time. And I've really been enjoying chicken thighs. So I threw the chicken thighs in the crock pot. I cut up a couple of potatoes and threw in the crock pot, dumped in the green beans on top, and then sprinkled the ranch dressing mix on top of all of that. And I let it cook on low all day long. And then we just served it up at dinner time, and it was just a nice little easy crock pot meal that the kids actually really enjoyed. And my husband said it made the house smell really, really good when he got home from work. So that's always a plus. I wanted to share the lemon pie recipe I made this week from the Joanna Gaines cookbook. I started by preheating the oven, crushed the graham crackers to make the crust. I mixed in the sugar it called for and got it all mixed up. And then I melted the butter and mixed it up. I will say I used a little more graham crackers than what it called for, so I should have put a little more butter. The crust is pretty crumbly, but it's still really delicious. I sprayed the pan with some cooking butter spray and pressed the pie crust out, and then I baked it in the oven for 8 minutes while I mixed together the filling. The filling was really easy, just 3 egg yolks, 3 cups of evaporated condensed milk, and I used the fat-free. And a pinch of salt. And I squeezed, it called for 2/3 a cup of lemon juice. I used a full cup, and it still wasn't very powerful in lemon, but it's very, very good. It just, I would have used a little more lemon because I like lemon flavor. And then I pour the filling into the pie crust, bake it for about 10 minutes, let it cool in the fridge, and it was really, really yummy. This next recipe is a family favorite. I've made it 1,000 times. It's shepherd's pie, and it is really, really good. And then my husband also wanted a side of ham and beans, so I made him some ham and beans. This recipe is really, really easy to make, and the ham and beans are really easy to make. I literally just cut up the ham into chunks and dumped the can of beans in the pot with it, and then cooked it until it was warm, and he ate almost the entire thing. I don't do ham and beans, but he loved it, so that's good. I cut the potatoes into chunks so I could get them in the pot to boil, so I could make homemade mashed potatoes with the skin on, because that's just how I like my mashed potatoes. As you can see, I'm also grinding up the beef for the shepherd's pie while everything else is heating up and warming up. Now to make the shepherd's pie, I throw in the ground beef, all the cans of vegetables, corn, peas, green beans, carrots, and then 2 cans of tomato soup. No added water, just dump the cans of tomato soup in, mix it all up. It's not gonna look pretty, it's gonna look really gross, but I promise you this tastes so, so good. Now I make my homemade mashed potatoes, throw in some butter, a little bit of milk, mash it up until it's good and smooth-ish mashed. And then I top the potatoes on top of the shepherd's pie mixture, and I'll just smooth it out, throw it in the oven on 350 to 400 for about 20 minutes, and then I sprinkle some cheese on top for another 10 minutes to let it melt, and this is what it comes out looking like. And you know it's done when the soup starts bubbling out of the sides.